Welcome back. You are watching Market Fatafat right here on our show where we get you all the stocks that are buzzing based on news flow as well as on technicals. We've done with the 30 minutes of the show. For the next 30 minutes on the technicals, we have Swati Hotkar joining us on the show. A very good afternoon to you, Swati. Thank you so much for joining us on ET now. And let's talk about ACC. After a while, actually, I've seen ACC actually feature on the technical list. How are the charts looking for this particular counter right now?
The chart is looking cautious because from the overbought zone, this RSI is showing a negative divergence. We have seen a very good rally from almost 1800 towards 2100 levels. From that onwards, we have seen some sort of a profit booking. And I believe today and day after before, we have seen that the stock is just struggling around nearby its 20 days moving average, which gives a very cautious and on the technical front. It's unable to surpass the 92,000 levels on the closing basis, which acting as a very strong resistance zone. I believe the profit booking is likely to be seen in the coming trading session as well, which might take the stock towards 1900 to 1920 levels on the downside. So be quite cautious. Stay alert in the ACC as downside 1920 levels can be seen. Higher side, positive momentum can be seen only above 2040 levels. If it manages to give the breakout of that level, then only the uptrend can be seen. So the view is little bit cautious at the current level in the ACC.
Okay, let's move on to the next stock, and that is Bank of Maharashtra from the PSU banking space. This one is also in focus on the back of its Q2 operational update. When you look at it, there's a strong loan growth that is coming for the company. The deposit growth is also quite strong. Look at the advances, that is up by almost 24% on a year-on-year basis. 4% on a quarter-on-quarter basis. Also, the deposits of the company, that has also seen a growth of 22% on a year-on-year basis, while on the sequential basis, a bit of a decline on the deposit front. CASA grew by 10% YOY, while down 3% on a quarter-on-quarter basis. Overall, when you're looking at it, the net interest income for the quarter is coming at 2,340 crores. So yes, overall loan growth is strong, deposit growth is strong. That momentum seems to be continuing. Bank of Maharashtra as of now has given up those morning gains. At one point of time, it was trading at a 52-week high, but yes, seen a bit of a decline on that front. But nonetheless, it's a strong update that is coming from Bank of Maharashtra in Q2.
All right, that is Bank of Maharashtra for you. Flash on the bottom of your screen that you're getting, where Saudi is saying they will continue with a voluntary cut of about 1 million barrels per day right up until December. So that's a crucial development that is coming in on that particular front. Let's just see where the crude prices are at this point in time and have they reacted to this particular statement coming in from Saudi Arabia. Remember the fact that they are saying they will go ahead and cut voluntarily, go ahead with the production cut of 1 million barrels per day. As of now, if you look at the crude prices, your Brent crude that is inched has actually surpassed the $90 per barrel mark. You also have NYMEX crude at around 88.7, and they are recovering from the day's lowest point as of now, as we see. So yes, some sort of a positive reaction coming in on the crude on back of that commentary coming in from Saudi Arabia. But let's move on and let's talk about Strides Pharma, and that particular counter is in focus in today's trading session. It saw an uptick of as much as 4.2% earlier in the day. Right now, still holding on to good gains of about 1% or so. The company has reaffirmed its EBITDA guidance in the range of about 700 to about 750 crore rupees for FY24. They've also said the decision to spin off the contract development and manufacturing organization, or the CDMO, and the soft gelatin business will unlock value for its shareholders. They've also said the unit has also received a US FDA approval for a drug which is used to treat patients with hypertriglyceride levels, and also the drug has a market size of about $1.3 billion in the United States. So on back of all of these positive commentaries, you can see Strides Pharma still holding on to good gains of about 1% as we speak.
Let's move on to the next one, and that is CDSL that you've picked for us, Swati, on the technical front. When you look at it in the last 6 months, surely seen a good return of around, given a good return of around 38 to 40%. But especially in the last, since the month of September, we're seeing a sharper uptick that has come in CDSL. What is the chart pattern actually now indicating for CDSL?
Yes, you have rightly pointed out that in the month of the initial start of the September, we have seen a very good rally from onwards 1150 to 1400 levels. But from that onwards, we are witnessing some sort of a profit booking, and it's facing a very cluster resistance nearby 1380 odd levels. So that resistance is acting as a double triple cluster resistance level. So the view is becoming cautious, and as of now, it is just hovering near its short-term moving average, which comes to around 20 DMA. it's coming towards to 1310 levels. So once it gives the breakout of 1310 levels, I believe that this selling pressure is likely to be intensified, and which might take the stocks towards to 2040, 2050 levels on the downside. So the view is a bit cautious. The long positions at the current market price. Those who are having any long, they can exit at the current market price or maintain the strict stop loss of the 1310 levels.
Right, moving on, Ashesha, Saturn Credit Care. Why is this particular counter in the spotlight today?
Well, it is on the back of their fundraising plans, where the company informed the exchanges that the board meet is scheduled to happen on the 6th of October to consider fundraising plans. On the back of this news, the stock is in focus. Remember, the stock is off significantly from the day's highest point, sitting with a cut of over 2% as we speak. But important to note that the stock has run up a whole lot. It is up 1% in the last 8% in the last 1 month, and up nearly 40% on a year-to-date basis. Today, on the back of these fundraising plans that could probably come through, the stock is in focus.
Let's keep an eye out on Saturn Credit. Let's move on talking about the next stock that is in focus today, that is IDFC First Bank. Harsh, what is the news flow here today that we have?
Well, fundraising and more fundraising from the financials, Vinny. You're seeing IDFC First as well, planning to raise funds through QIP. 94.95 rupees per share is what they have pegged as their price with regard to the fresh QIP. Of course, management having bandwidth to give a discount of up to 5% to that price. Currently, capital adequacy for IDFC First remains solid. 17% is what the capital adequacy is at. Loan growth has been steadily above 25% for the last 3 consecutive quarters. So definitely some amount of capital depletion has happened. The book size currently stands at around 1.7 lakh crore, of course needing a little bit of capital thrust to push it beyond that 2 lakh crore mark. And deposit growth also has been very, very strong. 35% plus deposit growth is what IDFC First Bank has clocked over the last 3 quarters. Again, in a tough set of quarters and off a low base. The guidance continues to remain the 23 to 25% band with regard to loan growth. And of course, this will be a key lever of positivity going forward. But of course, in line with the markets, the stock is down 2% in trade today.
Let's move on and talk about shadows. Then Swati, this is making the list of a lot of technical analysts. Obviously, there are a lot of triggers that are there as well. The World Cup, the festive season, as well as holiday season will be coming in as well. But in terms of charts, what is your view for this one?
Yes, chart is really doing very well, and it's looking very fine on technical front. The stock is trading in the pattern of the high tops and high bottom, which gives the potential of the upward momentum. In this kind of a volatile market also, this stock is just putting a new highs which comes straight around 597. And the strength of this particular counter is also intact. I believe it has a potential to reach up to 620 to 640 levels on the higher side. So those who are having any long positions, they can hold on, because the counter is just trading in the pattern of high top, high bottom formations. 555 will act as a crucial support level. So as long as it stays above that level, long position can be kept for a target of 640 levels on the high side.
Surely keeping an eye out on that one. Let's move on, talk about RVNL. This one is in focus again. Why? Because it is emerged as the lowest bidder for a development and distribution infrastructure at the north zone of Himachal Pradesh, and that is to revamp and reform this place. Now, obviously, the size of the order is 444 crores. On the back of this, we had seen a bit of a subdued positive uptick coming in, but as of now, the stock has given up all its morning gains, trading with cuts of almost 0.8% in trade. But yes, nonetheless, the stock is in focus after that 444 crore order win, which is expected to be executed in the next 24 months.
All right, so that is RVNL, that is in focus. But let's stay with the PSU pack and let's talk about Coal India, Swati, and how the chart's looking for Coal India. Once again, we know that Coal India has been on a lot of technical analysts' radar. It doesn't matter to still be on the radar then?
Yes, the chart is really doing very well. In the month of September was very good for this particular stock, because we have seen the flat pattern formation and it has given a breakout of the same level. Now the counter is trading by near its higher levels, but the strength is remaining intact. I believe that the short-term pullback to pull down can be seen into this particular stocks, which might take a stocks to 270 to 265 levels. But overall technical structure of this counter is really very strong, and I believe 340, 350 levels can be seen very soon. So one can hold their long positions as long as the stock is trades above 270 odd levels. So you can keep a stop loss of 270 and carry your long positions for immediate target of 340 levels on the high side.
All right, so that is Coal India for you, and Swati stayed coming in on that particular counter. But let's talk about the latest kid on the block, and that is Updata Services, because that particular counter listed on the bourses today, and it listed at a discount of approximately 5% or so. It listed at around 285, and the stock is actually hovering around those levels right now as well. The issue price was around 300 rupees per share, and soon after listing, the stock actually fell as much as 5.3%. It actually hit an intraday low of 4.15 rupees per share. There are a lot of brokerages that are recommended to subscribe for the long-term rating for the stock. You had Ananda that believed that the IPO was fairly priced as well. Remember, the IPO was subscribed 2.9 times, with the company receiving bids for nearly 34.75 million shares as against over 11.99 million shares on offer. But yes, subdued listing coming in for that particular counter.
Okay, on that note, viewers, we're going to slip into a very short break, but don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more stocks after this break. Welcome back, and you're watching a Market Fatafat on ET now with me, Vinny Mutel, and along with me, Cheryl D'Souza as well. But let's keep it going with all the stocks that are buzzing in trade, either on the back of news flows and technicals. And continuing with that, Swati, Coromandel International, that's the stock that you're going to talk to us about on the technicals. What are the charts now indicating for this one?
The chart is really doing very well. The stock is well placed above all the important moving averages, say the 150 and 200 DMA. Trading in the upward rising channel. I believe it has a strength to reach up to 1200 levels, and beyond that 1240 levels can be seen. So those who are having any long positions, they can hold on. Downside 1100 will act as very crucial support levels provided by 50 DMA. So as long as it sustains above that level, long positions can be kept hold for immediate target of 1200 and 1240 levels on the high side.
All right, moving on, let's talk about Vedanta then Ashesha. We all know why Vedanta was in focus yesterday, but today as well it's in focus.
Well, yes, after the strong restructuring data that came in over the weekend, we now have the stock in focus on the back of operational updates that the company released yesterday post market hours, where cast metal aluminium production increased by about 2% on a year-on-year basis and 3% sequentially to about 594 KT. Apart from this, mine zinc India metal production was marginally down. It declined by about a marginal 2% on a sequential basis. Refined zinc India metal production, meanwhile, also saw a decline of about 2% on a year-on-year basis, 7% on a sequential basis. As far as the other segments are concerned, saleable silver production, meanwhile, declined by 7% on a year-on-year basis, and zinc international overall production also declined by about 10% on a year-on-year basis. So on the back of these operational data figures that the company released yesterday, the stock is declining in trade. It has recovered slightly from the lowest point of the day, but despite that, sitting with a cut of nearly 3.5%.
Keeping Vedanta in focus. But let's move on and talk about DCM Shriram also. Swati, on the technical level, what is DCM Shriram expected to do going forward from here on? What is the upside you're expecting? Last 6 months, 35% return is what we've already seen.
Yes, in the last mostly 1.5 month, this counter has given a good returns. If you look towards on the larger degree on higher parameters, the monthly chart says that this counter has given the breakout of a downward sloping trend line. The new trend has been started in this particular counter in the last 1.5 month, and the breakout was on a monthly chart, which is a very positive indication on the technical front. Upside.
I believe we've snapped that line with Swati, but Harsh, let me come to you. Not one, but 3 stocks that you want to talk about: GNA Axles, RK Forgings, as well as Bharat Forge, and why?
Well, yes, so we've got numbers with regard to the preliminary NA Class 8 net orders, which has come in at roughly 36,800 odd units. And of course, that's positive largely because it's a 67% month-on-month growth, and it reflects the strongest order in a month in the last year or so. Of course, that's positive for all 3 of the counters. Despite that, all 3 of the counters in declines, unfortunately, because that's largely in line with the markets. But otherwise, of course, this news piece is positive for all 3 counters.
Okay, keeping an eye on that. But let's move on, talk about Vighnahara International. Swati, QSR space, that's been in focus for a while now. What is the chart now indicating for the Vighnahara?
The weekly chart says that the stock has given a breakout of the inverse head and shoulder pattern. If you look towards the line chart that it could break out. On the monthly chart, we have seen that almost a cup and handle formation breakout. So in this volatile market, also this particular counter has made a new high at around 227 level. I believe more upside can be seen into this particular counter up to 280 to 300 levels. So the long positions can be hold on or even.
I think we are on a patchy line with Swati. We'll try reconnecting on that front. But let's move on to the next stock, that is NBCC. That is in focus. Why is that so? This is a small order. That is, they've received a work order of around 25 crores for construction of permanent building at of CRC in Madhya Pradesh. So on the back of that, we're keeping an eye out on NBCC. This announcement came in yesterday late evening. And this is surely something that we are keeping an eye out on. As of now, stock is a bit subdued in trade, down 1.5%.
All right, moving on then, let's talk about Bajaj Finserv, because Bajaj Finserv is among one of the top losers today. 2.4% downtick that the stock had registered last time I checked, actually. And the reason why Bajaj Finserv is falling in trade today is because one of the reasons that could be attributed is because Bajaj Allianz General Insurance Company, that's the company's joint venture with Allianz, received a demand notice for about 1,010 crore rupees from the Directorate General of GST Intelligence, and the company informed this to the stock exchanges. The notice actually pertains to non-payment of GST on the co-insurance premium accepted as follower in case of co-insurance transactions and non-payment of GST on reinsurance commission accepted on the reinsurance premium ceded to various Indian and foreign reinsurance company, and this was during the period of July 2017 to March 2022. This is what the company actually informed the exchanges, and on back of that you can see the stock is under pressure, 2.2% as we speak.
Okay, that was stock number 34 for today and the last stock for today. So thank you so much Swati, Sumit, Harsh as well as Ashesha for joining in with us. And thank you so much viewers for tuning into Market Fatafat. It's a goodbye from Sharon, myself as well as the team who put this show together.